Throughout the years, the Republic of Fiji is poor and struggling in the economic field, along with increasing poverty and hunger and environmental issues that have been reported to have had an impact on the tourism sector, political turmoil triggered by a military coup in 1987, and numerous corruptions. The Republic of Fiji's international system is crucial in associating power politics between states whose interventions are subject to the international anarchy framework, since the goal of the international system is to achieve excellence in the establishment and representation of Fiji's foreign policy via proactive engagement in the international community, and the system ensures the government to cooperate with organizations linking the country's different major communities.
About Fiji international system. The international system is essentially associated with power politics between the states, of which actions are subject to the structure of international anarchy. The international system consists of three types of system, which is unipolar, bipolar, and multipolar system. Fiji's foreign policy directly associated with its bilateral and multilateral system, which is related to bipolarity and multipolarity system. Bipolarity system can be defined as a structure of world order in which much of the world's economic, military, and cultural realms are segregated as preserved between two nations. Fiji's foreign policy prior to 2009 was closely associated with its diplomatic relations with New Zealand, Australia, and the Commonwealth owing to its past as a British colony. A large part of Fiji's trade and economic ties are related to Australia, New Zealand, and the European Union. So the withdrawal of Fiji from the Pacific Islands Forum and the Commonwealth in May and September 2009 have seen a significant change in Fiji's new foreign policy. Multipolar system can be referred as the power capacity, meaning that a great power is able to wield its economic, military, political, and social impact on a global scale. Fiji has been widely participating in regional and international organizations such as United Nations at multilateral level. In 2010, Fiji discovered that if the Pacific were to have any effect over how decisions are formed at multilateral level, it would have to do so within its own region, the Asia Group. Fiji has prepared a model paper circulating in all 54 members countries of Asia region, including PSIDS in New York. Discussion and negotiation took 1 year from 2009 to 2010 to establish the idea before it was introduced to the organization. Fiji's participation in peacekeeping and peace building around the world is also a prime example of Fiji's contribution to a strong global citizenship through the multilateralism of the United Nations. In short, the political goal is to achieve excellence in the production and representation of Fiji's foreign policy by proactive involvement in the international community, by upholding the terms of international treaties of which it is a member, and by promoting constructive bilateral and multilateral diplomatic relations with other nations and international organizations.
Fiji's power system position. Fiji's power-sharing provisions are internationally peculiar, combining a Westminster-style constitutional framework with a multi-party cabinet proved incongruous. Historically, most cabinet power-sharing arrangements have been adopted together with proportional representation systems, as in New Caledonia, Northern Ireland, and Switzerland. Proportionality in parliament ensures a reasonably representative election of competing ethnic or interest groups, which are then brought also proportionally into government. Majoritarian systems, for better or worse, make likely party seat shares that differ from vote shares. Coalition governments are less likely to be necessary, leaving governing parties free to implement their manifestos undisturbed by compromises with elite parties. In the context of a proportionality rule as regards cabinet formation, it will frequently be the case that the Prime Minister's party's majority in Parliament is not dependent on, or even assisted by, parties which the power-sharing provisions bring into cabinet. Conversely, minority parties brought into cabinet are less likely to have their position reinforced by a real strength on the floor of parliament. Their role in cabinet is more likely under such system to be solely a function of legal constraints and consequently considerably weaker. Difficulties might arise with power-sharing institutions under either arrangement, but they are much more likely with majority electoral systems.
State independence of Republic of Fiji. In this section, we will discuss the state independence of the Republic of Fiji, about its most countable bilateral relation with the Woolville Partnership with Australia. Woolville is the word in the Fijian language for family. In every respect, it means my home is your home. Fiji and Australia relation. Australia joined Fiji in celebrating 50 years of independence as the nation became an independent state on 10 October 1970. The quote came from the Prime Minister of Australia himself upon congratulating the Republic of Fiji on its 50th anniversary of independence. In his speech, also quote that the relationship between Australia and Fiji is the focus on strong political, security, economic, and people-to-people ties, and one that continues to grow stronger through the Woolville Partnership between Fiji and Australia and the Pacific Step-Up of Australia. Thus, the statement above show how strong bilateral international relations are between the Republic of Fiji and Australia. As evident to their partnership is both states have their high commissioners in the other countries.
Nevertheless, the strong partnership between the two countries does not condition the Republic of Fiji to act independently in the international system. For instance, Fiji military forces have been active in the UN peacekeeping mission since 1998, most memorably in 2004, where Fiji was the first country to volunteer its troops to protect UN officials in Iraq during the period of the Iraq War. This active involvement of Fiji has been heavily against by the High Commissioner of Australia and Fiji, and also to the extent the Foreign Minister of New Zealand also voiced their disagreement towards it, and says that UN is taking advantage of Fiji in 2007. Following the pressure from New Zealand and Australia, the United Nations announced that its existing peacekeeping operations will continue to use Fijian police and troops, but will not increase their numbers in future deployments. But in March 2010, the Fiji UN ambassador at the time, Peter Thompson, and also the current Prime Minister of Fiji, Varik Bainimarama, expressed their readiness in providing troops to the UN in the future of peacekeeping operations. To conclude, even the strong partnership of Fiji with Australia does not stop Fiji from acting independently at international levels, and the Republic of Fiji is not bound under this partnership and vice versa.
Republic of Fiji's military aspects and its position in the system. Through more than 2.5 decades, the military has dominated the Fijian international system and affairs. According to Lawson 2015, the declaration of the largely elite governance, the legacy of colonial history, was based on Fijian democracy after its independence. Fiji's armed forces origins and growth strongly reflect the socio-political aspects of the pre-colonial and colonial past of Fiji. There was still a tiny military force known as the Royal Army when Governor Gordon took over the administration of the colony, which had been used by Fiji's leading eastern leader, Chakrabaw, and his British allies to dominate the central and western regions. Gordon proceeded to use this unit for his original intention of enslavement, thereby reinforcing the predominant power and interests of the East. Following the first military coup in 1987, poverty and hunger problems have continued to escalate in Fiji. The coup resulted in political instability, leading to a reduction in economic development and rise in poverty. From the outset, in the interest of internal political order, the armed forces in Fiji were largely used to coercing problematic parties.
Republic of Fiji's economic aspect and its position in the system. In economy, Fiji owns a variety concentrating mostly in tourism and agribusiness. agriculture, with a huge maintenance pre-scene influence with Fiji's native peoples. The province in Fiji as well as a huge system also acquiring profession helping small-scale next-door states. After 1996, and acquisitions in Fiji of the World Trade Organizations, the administration of Fiji had gone after for an export-driven inquisitive dealing plan with other nations and the next-door country. It makes Fiji go along with off-duty trading and minimize falsification on exchange. Fiji had fixedly advanced its own trading by reduce the implication power in commendations transmit encouragement of resulting and large exporting and importing capacity. For the total of Fiji in world of trade was a negative trade.
Fiji's gross national income and per capita national income. Fiji GNP is the value of by all resident producers plus any product taxes not included in the valuation of output plus net receipts of primary income from abroad. Fiji GNP has been increased year by year as the economy in Fiji continues to develop along with increasingly modern world. Fiji's main exports are sugar, garments, fish, mineral water, coconut oil, and etc. Other domestic exports that have increased are ginger, flour, taro, and sweet biscuits. Per capita income, Fiji's economy is one of the developed among the Pacific Islands. The GDP per capita is obtained by dividing the country's gross domestic product, adjusted by inflation, and by the total population. The gross domestic product per capita in Fiji was last recorded at 4,810 and cent 90 US dollars in 2019. The GDP per capita in Fiji is equivalent to 38% of the world's average.
Republic of Fiji's military and economic aspects in combination in its system. Both military and economic aspects place Fiji in the stable position in the system. As in the economic aspects, Fiji focus more on the market economy, which is the tourism industry and agriculture as the source of the income. Besides that, the government policy of Fiji introduced tax multinational companies that invest in Fiji estimate a sum of the profit. Other than relying on the tourism, Fiji also does trade with other countries, for instance mineral fuels, machinery, and manufactured goods to maintain the growth of their economy. Fiji's growth economy continues to develop year by year along with the increasing modern world. However, Fiji's economy faced problems in the last 2 decades as the country developed, but they managed to overcome the crisis. Fiji is now better known as a thriving tourist area with a mesmerizing view. Military. On the other hand, the military tends to dominate politics in the future and form peace and determine plans. Every country that has a center of government is very concerned about the military aspect to defend the country from the threat of the enemy and at the same time curse foreign relations to enjoy the privilege of a powerful country. Fiji does not have a formal peace alliance with other countries but considers traditional relations to determine that if Fiji is invaded, it will be defended by Australia, New Zealand, and possibly even the United States. It can be summarized that by implementing the bipolarity system in the Republic of Fiji, its international framework is vital for the association of political power between states whose interventions are subject to the international anarchy. The results indicate Fiji's excellence in engaging extensively in regional and international organizations such as the United Nations at multilateral level and in representing Fiji's foreign policy by constructive interaction with the international community.